Bowlingotter.
Game review.
Life is Strange from Dontnod Entertainment kind of crept out of the gate. The new episodic IP didn't have too much of a marketing push, despite being published by the enormous Square Enix. And Lissy and I sort of randomly stumbled on it when it hit the Steam Marketplace in late January of this year. Ultimately, I'm really glad we did, because with the last episode having recently concluded, Life is Strange ended up being one of the most interesting games we've played all year. But while I really wanted to love this series, I'll have to settle for liking it. For every thrilling step it took, it far too often managed to do something to pull us out of otherwise powerful moments. Fair warning, while this review will be mostly spoiler-free, I did want to reference a few specific things in order to outline some of my points, so there will be some mild spoilers here and there. Let's start at the beginning. Max Caulfield, Catcher in the Who, is a photography student at the prestigious prep school of Blackwell Academy. In the middle of her class, she has a premonition of a devastating storm headed straight for Arcadia Bay, which is the town that the game takes place in. But the key moment early on that sets the tone is when she witnesses the murder of her estranged best friend Chloe in the school bathroom.
Get that gun away from me, psycho! No!
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
Just after it happens, she suddenly finds herself back in the classroom again before the murder had taken place. Knowing what's going to happen this time, she goes back to the bathroom and hits the firearm, which causes everybody to leave so Chloe doesn't get murdered. We soon learn that Max and Chloe were childhood friends that were inseparable, but circumstances have pulled them apart and they hadn't seen each other in 5 years. When they reconnect, that relationship is the star of the series from that point forward.
So you came back to Arcadia for a teacher, not your best friend.
Oh boy.
Don't you think I'm happy to see you? No. You were happy to wait 5 years without a call or even a text.
Whoa, we didn't do anything?
Oh wow.
I wanted to, I would say.
I wanted to. I was just so tripped out over leaving Arcadia.
Despite the emergence of several other characters, like the friend-zoned Warren, the humiliated Kate, and the popular rich girl bully Victoria, the deepest connections to this game revolve almost exclusively around Max and Chloe. Outside conflicts and antagonists are introduced, but with very little comparable impact. Every time a new episode came out, the reason I was excited to play it was because I wanted to know what happened with Max and Chloe. Life is Strange plays very much like the popular episodic series from Telltale Games. It's a choice-based point-and-click adventure game with branching storylines and a heavy emphasis on dialogue. The hook here is that Max has this mysterious rewind ability, which she uses to say different things to people or take different actions in tense situations. This allows the game to take some drastic turns with really crazy results because it can all be taken back in a heartbeat. Sometimes it can be as simple as Max winning someone's trust by talking to someone to learn their name, rewinding, and then pretending you knew it from the start.
What's my last name?
Studebaker.
Actually, I think it's Mason.
Mason?
Remember it was her thing?
Juliet Mason. That was truly sad. Thanks for your concern,
Oh.
Max Caulfield.
Juliet Watson, be nice.
Juliet Watson, you be nice.
You be nice.
I'm flattered. I didn't even think you knew my name at all.
Sometimes it can be as devastating as a target shooting accident where Chloe gets shot, and then Max can rewind and warn her before it happens.
Maybe.
Oh!
Jesus, I shot myself! Ugh, I shot myself! Back up, back up!
Gun? Hold on, Chloe.
While rewinding is the most unique gameplay mechanic here, it's also the most problematic. In my review of episode 1, I voiced some concern over the fact that rewinding may take away the impact of moral choice. You didn't have to stick with any decisions because you could take anything back. Those concerns are mostly alleviated in the episodes that followed. Yes, you could still take back some moment-to-moment mistakes, or even test some choices to see how they turned out before you stuck with them. But there were still larger, overarching conclusions drawn from a series of choices over time that you didn't necessarily get a do-over on. You did end up having to stick with some major stuff.
Pregnancy test?
Why am I taking a pregnancy test?
Max, that's mine.
Yeah, well, that's being a little nosy, Max. What are you doing?
Well, Dontnod Entertainment should have quit while they were ahead, because they ultimately took the rewind mechanic way too far. In the middle of the series, a new mechanic is introduced, which allows Max to go back into any moment in time that's been photographed in order to influence the future. While this is at first an exciting and shocking revelation, and leads directly to possibly the most emotional and impactful moment of the whole game, it's totally abused by the time the final episode rolls around. The final episode. It's frustrating how disappointing that is. There's a big reveal of a villain character, and while it's an impressive twist at first, it quickly devolves into a vapid, cliche antagonist. And what seems to be a hopeless situation is all too easily alleviated by the photo mechanic. Not only that, but it happens over and over, and it renders all those heart-wrenching, painstaking moments and decisions earlier in the game virtually irrelevant to the story. Suddenly, rewinding isn't just a twist to the gameplay, it's all the gameplay. And despite some great moments in that final episode, it's kind of a slog to play through. Fortunately, the ultimate conclusion is still a largely satisfying one, even if it does end up boiling down to one last predictable choice, and one of them is clearly the correct one. But regardless, it's a really big moment, and it's well done to cap off the whole series. And really, that last episode was so frustrating just because of how good the previous episodes were. This deserved a better send-off, but the many powerful moments you'll have experienced up to that point will stick with you no matter what.
I need a serious timeout in the bathroom.
What does that mean? She got to
Splash
poop?
water on my face
Oh.
and make sure I don't look like a toddler.
I need a serious poop break in the toilet.
The aesthetic experience surrounding this roller coaster of a story is all over the place. Life is Strange is definitely a really good-looking game. Unreal Engine 3 is put to good use here, with beautiful landscapes and great character models. The lip-syncing of characters during dialogue is inconsistent, starting out as way off in episode 1, and it generally gets better as the series goes on, but it's never that distracting to make a huge difference. The dialogue, though, that was often very distracting. At its best, it was outlining some real emotional moments and tear-jerking scenes. At its worst, it made us literally laugh out loud during moments that were supposed to be intense and serious. And it was everywhere in between. Throwing in phrases like hella and shaka bra felt like a parent trying too hard to look cool to their teenage kid. And I'm still not sure if I'm supposed to take it seriously when somebody says this in an art gallery.
God, I love art.
Maybe that was tongue-in-cheek, but when the dialogue stumbles as often as it does in Life is Strange, then a moment like that falls squarely into Poe's law. On the other hand, the voice acting is pretty darn strong. Max Caulfield ends up a little too wispy for my taste, but Ashley Birch does a particularly great job of voicing Chloe, providing convincing performances in all sorts of varying emotional situations. Really, they did the best they could with the script they had, and in a lot of cases, they save it.
Hey, it's Thelma and Louise. Or is it Bonnie and Clyde?
Excuse us, Frank.
Oh, sorry, Chloe.
Oh, that's
Don't
the
let me
guy.
get in the way of your bonding.
Life is Strange is a game that actually works very well in its episodic format. Each of the 5 episodes lasts about 2 to 3 hours, and while that might not always be feasible for a one-sitting playthrough for everybody, it's definitely best if it's consumed that way. And each one lets off on a note that'll definitely have you thinking about it right up until the point you can play it again, especially in the later episodes. But all told, it's over 12 hours of gameplay that's generally paced very well and rarely padded, with the exceptions of a bit of annoying busy work in the 2nd and 5th episodes.
Now go find us 5 bottles, pretty please.
What are you going to do?
Wait, really?
Just stand there?
That's what I have to do? I have to find bottles?
This is a game that hits high and tanks low moment to moment. After a little bit of trepidation following episode 1, the whole series ended up a lot better than I'd expected. It's a shame that the last episode was probably the weakest one, but it wasn't bad enough to keep me from recommending it to anybody with an interest in adventure games. You won't regret it if you play this game. In looking through the comments on our last video of the game, most of you really seemed to enjoy this. It really hit home with Miranda Powers, who felt it had a really powerful message. And Connor Brennan never felt so emotional about a game before. But some of you still had some reservations when all was said and done. Comet Trail thought it was a great game and one of the best, but didn't like how none of the choices really mattered in the end. David Anderson thought that the writing was a big problem, and it gave him a sense of disbelief the whole time. If you've played Life is Strange, let us know what you thought in the comments below. And if you found this review helpful, please head on over to Steam and give it a thumbs up. You can also check out our playthrough of the entire series by clicking right here or on the link in the description. We post new videos every day, so click that subscribe button if you would like to see more. For now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
So we just kind of decided spur of the moment to play this one. It's
Yeah.
called Life is Strange. It just came out on the 29th.
Yes,
It's an
2 days
episodic series by Square Enix.
Yeah.
And it looks pretty cool. We checked out the trailer. And it
Guys,
was,
the reviews are insane.
yeah, the reviews are really good, so we're kind of excited to check this out. We don't know anything else about it, though.
No.
We saw the trailer and that's it. So we're going to get going here. Life is Strange is a story-based game that features player choice, the consequences of all your in-game actions and decisions
no.
impact the past, present, and future.
Now,
The past, present, and future.